Bruce Dickinson wants more cowbell. Sylvia Massey wants more fun rock and roll energy, and she found that in the town of Weed. If the gold records hanging on the office wall don't grab your attention, then perhaps the inside of this studio will.
I think that this studio is as good as any LA studio and probably way better than 90% of them.
Sylvia Massey moved to Weed from LA a little more than a decade ago. And while she left the smog behind, she brought with her the air of success.
I took a year off of work just to live the good life, you know. But then I had two big successes happen that year. One was a band called System of a Down, and another was a band called Powerman 5000. And the phone was ringing off the hook, and my husband and I spoke to each other about, well, do we want to build a studio here? And this theater was available.
Sylvia and the artists she works with have come to love this converted theater.
Because the group is on stage, it is like a live performance, so they're going to play with that kind of feeling.
Who knew a small town in Northern California could have the elements to create the best records possible?
Performances are very concentrated and very deliberate, and people are very happy when they're here.
Sylvia can name drop with the best of them.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Red Hot Chili Peppers, REM, Smashing Pumpkins, the list goes on. I've been fortunate enough to work with some really great musicians.
And she is always looking for new talent. While she can't help you sing in tune, she can make sure your best sounds that way on an album.
I think I have a good ear for that, and I've managed to get some pretty big artists started on the right foot by starting to work with them early.
After all the great work in creating a studio everyone loves, you would think it's time to slowly fade out. But actually, Sylvia thinks it's just about time to crank things up.
There's always things to do. We'll always be building, and I don't have any plans for stopping this and doing anything else. I love it so much.
It starts out softly. And as it slowly builds, you would think the music was coming from the forest itself. And when you finally discover this beautiful sound emanates from Daniel Sperry and his magnificent cello, you quickly forget everything else as your mind falls into rhythm.
It's an amazing park. To be blessed to hear music like this is unbelievable.
I'd say it all somehow or other works. You know, you have the creek in the background, and you know, it does feel like, okay, well, that's a tree. The tree turned into a cello, and music came from there, you know.
If you're able to snap yourself out of the musical trance, you begin to ask the question, why is someone as talented as Daniel playing in the middle of Lithia Park?
It was kind of a happenstance. I was given this cello. I was here with my son, and he wanted to hear the cello, and I came into the park with my cello and sat on the wall and started playing, and people started throwing money in my case. That really wasn't my plan.
While making money in the park was a surprise, Daniel did leave his job with a computer web company with the intention of supporting himself with his music. But there were a lot of questions as to how he could make that happen.
Anyone who has a deep longing to do something creative is always faced with this choice, whether to, get a job and bring home some bacon or live a life that is risky.
A risk that has worked out well, as Daniel is able to support himself and his son on money from CDs he's recorded, a steady stream of gigs, and of course, his daily concerts in Lithia Park.
It's not that easy to be a musician, but I do see that people who give their heart to it find a way to make it work.
Without Daniel's leap, he wouldn't have been able to spread so much joy. And he would also have a tougher time telling his own son that it's worth it to follow your dreams.
They have this desire to do something that's not necessarily the mainstream, but they're really into it and it means a lot to them. They should just go for it.